Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if new here. My name is Sarah Jane. I am someone who loves to read, and I talk a lot about reading and my life in DC, so if that type of content interests you, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe because it really helps support my channel. Today we're doing my September reset. I love doing these videos at the beginning of the month. I think it just really helps me reflect on how did things go in the previous month, and you know, like just really take a second, think about it. How's life? You only get 12 months in a year, you know? So anywho, that's what we're doing today. We're going to take a look at how things went in August and then make some new goals for September. So let's talk about how August went. A couple things happened. 4 like major life events happened, which essentially averages me at like one big thing a week. But one, I did finish summer school and I am now heading into my final semester at Georgetown, which is a pretty big thing because our final semester is this really big culminating like exercise that we do. We put together everything that we've learned so far and we put it towards this one big project. So that was super exciting. I really did like my last elective. I did social media for sports, which I work in social media professionally. So for me, I really enjoyed like learning from other industry leaders on their recommendations on how to do social media, and specifically in sports because that's pretty close to an industry that I work in. So that was super interesting for me and I'm really glad that I got to do that. Second thing, which was pretty big, which I will get into more later, but I did get a new car. So if you guys watched my August reset, I talked about how I was having a lot of car difficulties and then I ended up getting a new car. So that was a really big thing. Third thing that happened sort of in the month of August is I started running again. If you guys don't know, I am prior military and I used to run a lot in the military, but running in the military, you're kind of like forced to run. So it sort of takes that pleasure out of it a little bit. But for me, I just genuinely wanted to start running. It came out of nowhere. I actually saw a TikTok that was like about this girl running and how she decided to start running, and I was motivated to do the same. And I have just been running a lot lately. I feel like it has really helped with my stress and releasing like endorphins, and it's been great. And the last big thing that happened sort of in the month of August was I went on my first family vacation with my husband's family. We went to Oak Island, which is a beach in North Carolina. It's between Wilmington and Myrtle Beach, if you're familiar with the East Coast. And I genuinely really enjoyed it. I haven't been on a family vacation in a very long time, and it was the first time with my husband's family, so it allowed us the opportunity to like bond and relax and like get together and just spend quality time together. Okay, so now that I've talked to you guys about what really happened in the month of August for me, I also like to share some of my monthly favorites. So my favorite book was Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. I freaking loved this book. I'm gonna talk about this book during my monthly reading wrap up, but I totally understand the hype around it. I gave it 5 stars. Essentially, if you're not familiar with Fourth Wing, which at this point I'd be really surprised if someone hasn't heard of Fourth Wing, but regardless, essentially you are in a world called Navarre. You're at a war college, and there are 4 different areas of studies that you can go into. You can become a scribe, a healer, infantry, or a dragon rider. Our protagonist is a girl named Violet who has a disability that makes her very frail. Violet has trained her whole life to be a scribe, very similar to her father. The book starts about 6 months after the death of her father, and her mother, who is very well known for being a bit harsh, has decided that Violet is going to become a dragon rider. You start the book with Violet entering the Dragon Quadrant. I loved this book. It gave me like West Point, which is the US military academy / dragon vibes, like very Game of Thrones. I loved the storyline. I loved the character development. I loved the fighting, the romance, the dragons. I really enjoyed the love triangle between the characters. I just really could not say enough good things about this book. But I also had a second favorite book this month, which was called Magnolia Parks by Hastings, also another book that I feel like everybody knows about. So this is a character-driven novel, not a plot-driven novel. You essentially have dual POV between BJ and Magnolia, who are in their early 20s. I believe they're around like 22. They are in a toxic on and off again relationship. The book jumps between past and present and essentially fills you in as a reader of like how they're in this love story and how they've essentially gotten to the toxic part of their love story. There's a lot of trigger warnings for this book, lots of cheating, toxic relationships, which is why it took me a while to read this book, even though I've had it on my TBR for a long time. I just don't like reading books that focus on those tropes because I really feel like it glorifies that behavior. But I've just heard so many good things about it that I just had to pick it up, and it has become my second monthly favorite book. And that's all I'm gonna say about it because I wanna leave other things in my monthly wrap up. Favorite memory from this month was going to the beach with my husband's family. My favorite show is Suits, which I watched Suits a long time ago, but now that they have it on Netflix, I started watching it again. Also, the new season of Ultimatum came out, and I freaking adore that show. I just think it's so much fun. So those are my two favorite shows from this month. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get into the goals portion of this video. So first, I always like to take a look at how I did in the month of August, and you know, kind of grade myself a little bit and then go from there. So I always categorize these videos in 3 different sections. I have health and wellness, personal and professional, and personal finances. So starting with health and wellness, I said that I wanted to work out 3 times a week. I actually did that this month, which I'm so proud of myself because that's something I kind of struggle with sometimes, is making sure I make time to go to the gym. But I was really, really good about it this month, and I'm really proud of myself for that. So number 2 was meal prep weekly. I also did that. When I say meal prep, I mean like for lunch, not necessarily dinner, because my husband and I take turns making dinner, but I always try to bring in my lunch so that I am not spending a ton of extra money at the office for food. And I did do that. When I say I did that, it actually wasn't me, it was actually my husband. He made me a wrap every single day because he's like the GOAT, and I appreciate him for that. But it definitely saved like a ton of money, and it made me not overeat at work. And then the next one is read 4 books. I definitely read more than 4 books. I think I actually have read closer to 6. I don't have the number in front of me, but I read more than 4 books. So super happy about that. And stay tuned for my September reading wrap up because I'm gonna talk all about them. Next is personal and professional. So go on 3 friend dates. I actually went on 4 friend dates, which I love. Friend dates to me are, you know, getting together with a girlfriend and just catching up, doing some sort of activity, something like that. And it was 4 different girlfriends too, which I'm really proud of. I find that it's good for me to make a goal for myself to make sure that I'm making time for my friends, because I find that when life gets really hectic, one of the first things that I kind of do is I tend to like need more alone time to sort of rejuvenate, but I don't want to, you know, not hang out with my friends anymore. So as long as I make sure that I have a goal that I'm always hanging out with them, or not always hanging out with them, but making time for them, that it really helps with my social relationships. Okay, next was upload 4 YouTube videos. I did do that. YouTube was not great this month. I did not upload a ton, but I did hit 4 videos, and I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that I was gonna start back at Georgetown for my final semester, and I just wasn't gonna have as much time anymore, but I did hit the 4 goal. Next was write 20K words. I did not hit this goal. I'm really sad. If you guys, it's a couple of uploads back at this point, but I made a video about how I'm writing my first novel. It's super exciting. I love it. It's a Greek mythological fiction work, and I really, really love this story. But once again, I knew August was gonna be a tough month in terms of writing. I hit 13,000 words, so I did write, I just did not hit 20K. And I do think this is gonna be a challenging goal for me in the future. Next goal was begin secondary research for capstone. I did do that. And then my last goal was form a financial plan for finances for the new car. So I kind of mentioned this earlier on my monthly reflection. Essentially what happened was, I have had car issues since December. It cost me $2,000 to fix my car back in December. I had a cylinder misfire, and then I was having car issues last month in which they wanted to charge me $14,000 for a new engine, which was not happening. So I did find myself a good trusting mechanic, and he was able to fix my car for $2,000, but he did go ahead and tell me that I was gonna start having more issues with my vehicle. So between $4,000 that I paid within the last 7 months, I knew it was time to probably get myself a new vehicle, because even though I had it paid off, like, I was still shelling money into it. So I looked at new vehicles and I did a lot of research, got quotes for my trade-in value, all that stuff, and I found a car that I really liked, but I was nervous because I haven't had a car payment in a long time, and I did a lot of like algorithms and numbers to see like what would my budget look like once I start factoring in a car payment again. And so I put together that whole plan, and I did end up buying a new car. I got a little sensitive, like saying goodbye to my Jeep, because if you guys have followed me on this channel for a while, I got the Jeep right after college while I was in the Army. So I've had this car for about 8 years, and there's a lot of memories associated with it. Like I've had that car longer than like a man, my dog, like you name it, a job. Like I went into the Army with that car. I moved to New York City with that car. I got my dog with that car. I moved to Virginia with that car. So like this car has been with me through so much. But I did trade it in, and I got a really great deal with that car. So anyways, like it all worked out with my personal finances. It just really made me nervous in the month of August. So that was everything on my August reset. I had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goals, and I got 7 of them, which for me is unheard of. I normally get like half. So I am so freaking proud of myself in the month of August. I did so good. So I've already done my September goals. Let's go ahead and talk about it. I always like to start off with a little quote, and my quote for September is, "And the sun took a step back, the leaves lulled themselves to sleep, and autumn was awakened," by Raquel Franco. I loved this quote because I've been telling my husband this whole month that like I am so ready for fall weather. I'm ready for crisp mornings. I'm ready for orange leaves. I'm ready to just like read cozy mysteries and thrillers and decorate for Halloween. Like I'm ready for all of this fall stuff, but it's still like a little bit too warm where I live in DC, so we're waiting. But this felt like a good quote to sort of like start September. I did already tell my husband that as soon as Labor Day weekend is over that we are putting up all the fall decorations. Anyways, going into health and wellness, I'm keeping actually all of these the same. Work out 3 times a week, meal prep weekly, and read 4 books. This feels like a very sustainable and doable plan for me as I'm starting this last semester at Georgetown. For personal and professional, I want to keep going on 3 friend dates. I want to keep a weekly upload schedule on YouTube, and I want to stay on top of Capstone. When I say stay on top of it, what I mean is like I want to make sure that I'm not leaving things till last minute. It is such a big project that I don't want to feel rushed and then get stressed, because I personally have a hard time dealing with stress. So like I just want to make sure that I'm staying on top of it. And then my last one for personal finances is stay focused on my goals. And I know that's a bit ambiguous. I used to share a lot of like personal finances here on YouTube. I don't do that as much anymore now that I'm married, but like I do have my financial goals, and like I really want to stay on them. So I just want to make a note of that. Anyways, those are all of my goals for the month of September. Super excited about it, super ready to go. And I think it's gonna be a good month, and I'm so excited because it's gonna be sort of like the beginning of fall, and it's gonna be great. I just can't wait. So anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what some of your September goals are, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.